The Hermetic Revival. The universe operates by natural laws, apples fall, birds fly, and life encompasses both living and dying. Understanding these laws empowers us. We can defy gravity to fly and live better lives by acknowledging our mortality. And since the very beginning of civilization, the wisest of us have been united in the pursuit of discovering these natural laws in order to learn from them and use them to experience greater happiness, meaning, and control over our lives in the time that we have. Almost 2,000 years ago, talking about these ideas could lead to serious trouble, even death, because they were considered heresy and blasphemy. People would share them secretly, speaking in hushed tones, and only trusted masters shared them with their students. But by working hard to save and dig up old things, we can now learn about our past thoughts and a special tradition that helped us understand the universe and our role in it. This tradition is called Hermeticism. What is Hermeticism? These letters were lost to the Western world after classical times, but survived in Byzantine libraries. The Hermetic tradition is ancient knowledge not linked to Christianity. It's a part of Gnosticism. Old ideas from the 1st and 2nd centuries AD. The key writings are known as the Corpus Hermeticum, written by someone named Hermes Trismegistus. In a historical world where all major religions had gatekeepers to the spiritual experience, the Gnostics, and later Hermeticists, rebelled in thought. They sought the mystical experience and created a way of thinking to connect with a visionary reality. This raises the question, who was Hermes, and what made him so influential? Hermes Trismegistus is the purported author of both the Emerald Tablet and the Corpus Hermeticum, and one of those characters in history that blend the mythical with the actual. Hermes was credited with thousands of highly esteemed writings in both Egypt and Greece, suggesting a shared cultural tradition between the two in the man. And while the Italian Renaissance believed Hermes to be an Egyptian priest, it is possible the Corpus Hermeticum was actually written by a collective of unknown authors who were Platonistic and Stoic Greeks. All that can be said for sure is that the 7 Hermetic laws shared in the Corpus Hermeticum were found, in part, in the Nag Hammadi library in 4th century Egypt AD, and in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, proving a common thread of some sort. Whether Hermes actually existed was in fact both the Greek god Hermes and the Egyptian god Thoth, and whether this represents a shared cultural link between ancient Greece and Egypt, there is no way to prove. The Hermetic principles held significant value for ancient cultures, regardless of their author. These emotions retain their intensity, adjusting in degree to align with the desired outcome and experience. These 7 laws are ancient and influential, expanding horizons and aiding many in pursuing fuller, happier, and more meaningful lives, both in modern and ancient times. While hearing these principles, remember that they were written thousands of years ago, before any modern science verified their surprisingly accurate esoteric claims. The 7 Hermetic Principles for Self-Mastery. 1. The principle of mentalism. Inspired by this wave of innovation, these timeless principles were resurrected again by the Freemasons and showed up in the teachings of American revolutionaries. The all is mind, the universe is mental. The first principle says all is mind, revealing that the universe at its core is mental. Everything in the material world, including life, matter, and energy, is the result of thoughts from an infinite and universal mind. The mental universe can be seen as infinite intelligence or consciousness, a conversation of thoughts. The principle of mentalism asserts that mind governs energy, power, and matter within us and all around us. Recognizing every action as an interplay of thoughts helps grasp the first principle of mentalism, enabling the application of mental universe laws for personal well-being and progress. Through the mind, emotions can be shifted by objective thinking and conscious choice. These emotions maintain intensity, adjusting to suit desired outcomes and experiences. This is achievable through the law of mentalism, influencing other laws and occurrences on different planes. In Hermeticism, they represent these concepts using circles within circles. The layers have an impact on one another. There are 3 main levels known as the Great Planes: mental, physical, and spiritual. Between these, there are smaller planes, ranging from basic matter to more spiritual aspects, and they change gradually. From a first-person perspective, the mental plane is experienced as thought, insight, intuition, and reason. This principle is what allows the student to apply their mental faculty to leverage all other laws, by perceiving thought as the operating system, which allows them to interface with other layers of being, and to anticipate other natural and energetic laws, and cause them to occur in ways that are beneficial. Because all planes exist within the realm of a mental universe, they can be reasoned with. Through this principle, David can take down Goliath, we can explore the moon, and reason with all phenomena of the mental universe. 2. The principle of correspondence. As above, so below, as below, so above. As within, So without, as without, so within. This principle embodies the truth that there is always a correspondence between the laws and phenomena of various planes that manifest as being and life. Grasping this principle is what allows one to deduce the hidden solutions to problems by looking at what exists a layer above and below the problem, and infer the pattern and shadow nature of what is in between. Just as the knowledge of geometry allows one to measure the cosmos and map its movements as a dance of spheres and spirals, observing the principle of correspondence, we can come to know the whole of the universe by exploring the higher and lower nature of things surrounding the mystery. And likewise, we discover more of ourselves by experiencing and studying the world we are integrally a part of through the pursuit of gnosis. The micro is in the macro, and vice versa. 3. The principle of vibration. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. This principle embodies the truths that nothing rests, everything is in motion, and everything vibrates. It explains that matter, energy, and even spirit are simply varying rates of vibration. A classic example of this is frequency, in which the 7 octaves of music, tuned up 44 octaves, miraculously become the spectrum of visible light, passing through states of being that include the buzz pitch of insects, ultrasound, plasma, ether, hypersound, and even octaves of heat. As they change manifestation, the vibrations maintain the same correspondence, the difference being only in measurement and energy, as frequencies slide up and down the electromagnetic spectrum. At the highest rates of vibration, the rate and intensity are so rapid something may appear to be motionless, like a spinning wheel appearing stable. And at the lowest levels of vibration, objects move so slowly they appear to be totally at rest. Between these two extremes, exist infinite manifestations all occurring at varying octaves of vibration, each with their own phenomena. Hermeticists believe that thoughts have their own rate of vibration and can be controlled like tuning an instrument, to produce various results for the aim of self and environment mastery. As understanding of vibration, frequency, harmony and resonance increases, so too power over the self and the world. 4. The principle of polarity. Everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites, like and unlike are the same, opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet, all truths are but half-truths, all paradoxes may be reconciled. An obvious example is hot and cold, both are temperatures, varying only in degree. There is no clear crossover moment when hot stops being hot, and starts being cold, and vice versa, with no absolutes on either end. The same can be said of light and darkness, hard and soft, big or small, and even love and hate. With love and hate there is no clear point where one emotion becomes another, or when it passes through like dislike or indifference. All are merely our perceptions of the degree. 5. The principle of rhythm. Everything flows out and in, everything has its tides, all things rise and fall, the pendulum swing manifests in everything, the measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left, rhythm compensates. This principle controls the cycle of life and death, creation and destruction, rise and fall, and of course manifests in our mental states. When you are in tune with the principle of rhythm, and understand that every mental state exists in rhythm, always ebbing and flowing, you can learn to use this principle to your advantage by polarizing yourself to the degree you desire. Then, through awareness of this principle and how it manifests, holding yourself there to keep the pendulum from swinging you backwards to its extreme. Imagine going to an event that you know holds a lot of emotional significance for you, and checking in with yourself there. Knowing you are experiencing a high, and that this state is unsustainable, you can slot in time for transition to keep yourself from crashing, knowing the principle of rhythm is affecting or will affect you. Likewise, with times of stress and grief, you can give yourself time to return to neutral before ramping back up again. Know that things you lose will come back, and that things you own now will disappear later. Being able to use these smooth transitions can be the difference between days of recovery, mentally, physically, and emotionally, and smooth grace periods between times of intensity. Knowing when to retreat and when to return is one of the many keys to self-mastery. 6. The principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect, every effect has its cause, everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name, for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. This principle embodies the fact that there is a cause for every effect, and an effect for every cause, meaning that nothing merely happens for no reason, and that there is no such thing as chance. In harmony with the principle of correspondence, there are higher planes dominating lower planes, and nothing escapes the principle of cause and effect. Nothing happens without explanation. The empowering use of this principle is to make the conscious choice to rise above the plane of thought you currently occupy, to become your own cause and not just an effect of others and the situations you find yourself in. That is to say, be your own first mover as opposed to someone who merely reacts to circumstance. Of course, when you are on the quest to become someone who has mastery over their self, and can control their moods, character, and the environment around them, you will naturally have to obey the causation or higher planes, in accordance to this principle. But the important distinction is that having awareness of this will give you the ability to rule on your own plane, without resigning to the roles of the dunce or victim. 7. The principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. This principle asserts that both masculine and feminine aspects exist in everything, extending beyond gender to creative elements on various levels. In accordance with the correspondence principle, this duality exists not only in the physical realm but also in the mental and spiritual realms. Gender plays a role in all things: generation, creation, and regeneration. Nothing can come into being without the use of this principle. All beings contain this great principle within them, as two parts. Every male has feminine energy, and every female has masculine energy. Understanding these principles and their interconnections helps us grasp our own patterns, influences, and how to use these laws to guide our lives. Hermeticism's 7 principles teach us to use our minds to connect with the mental universe. All dreamers envision a realm beyond our basic origins in matter,